How's it going, family? Powerful I am. It's your guy, 50 the Mystic. As promised, today we're covering a jam packed, very interesting scripture in itself. Exodus 20, verse 12. Like you've never had it deciphered before. Well, some might know, those who understand the Bible mystically and esoterically. Honor your father and your mother, that your days may be long upon the land which the Lord your God is giving you. Sounds very basic. Sounds very simple on the surface, especially if you take the Bible in the literal sense. But let's decode it and show you exactly how deep and far it goes. It's not just about your lineage and your origins. It's about something more distinct about you and creation. Now, this scripture shifts from the focus from cosmic order to lineage, origin, and continuity. Father and mother represents more than biological parents. They symbolize source, foundation, and the channels through which life flows into form. To honor them is to honor origin itself, the chain through which existence arrives. In this sense, dishonoring parents is not merely a relational conflict. It is symbolic rejection of one's own roots. Honor in this verse does not mean blind obedience or approval of wrongdoing. It means recognition, weight, and acknowledgement. To honor is to accept that life came through them, regardless of imperfection. The verse is not about parents being flawless, it is about lineage being sacred. The father represents structure, direction, and authority in itself, while the mother represents nurture, continuity, and embodiment. Together they form the full architecture of life's transmission itself. The promise of long days on the land is symbolic of stability, grounding, and continuity. The land represents the space where identity, purpose, and legacy are lived out. When a person is disconnected from their roots, they struggle to remain grounded. I know I can speak for a particular race in South Africa that is so far disconnected from their roots they don't even know who they are. But apparently they're all descendants of Bible characters. That's very strange and weird. But alas, each to their own. I don't judge too much. Every soul has a specific journey that it has to complete on this earth. We will all understand things completely differently. We are all unique beings with different genetic makeups. You're even more unique than the parents are to you. Remember, you might be a culmination of both of their DNAs. But remember, on your father's side, you've got his paternal and maternal blood. Mother's side, paternal, maternal blood. You see how quickly that web widens? You're not even your parents themselves. You're a combination of them and all their lineages. And most times, people don't even know who their great-grandfathers were. Their great-great-grandfathers. They don't know the origins of their bloodline or their stories. None at all. And some are very proud about it. It's unfortunate. They move often emotionally or physically. They feel displaced even when successful. Honoring origin anchors a person in reality. This commandment stands at the hinge between divine law and human society. It symbolizes the bridge between heaven and earth, between cosmic order and lived experience. Without honoring lineage, communities fragment and individuals drift without grounding. Man, even if you were to look at me, I don't even know the true history of my own bloodline. And to be honest with you, let's not mince it. As much as it's the fault of my parents, it's the fault of the religious doctrine that's been fed to all of them. So many of us don't even know our lineage. We don't know our roots because of the way religion was brought to us. And it told us our roots are evil, to the point of brainwashing of an entire race. Therefore, this symbolizes continuity of life through respect for origin. When roots are honored, life stabilizes. When roots are rejected, identity weakens. Honoring father and mother is ultimately honoring the path through which existence arrived and ensuring that life flows forward rather than breaking in the middle. And you understand, the scripture speaks directly to psychological integration and nervous system stability. Father and mother are the first regulators of a child's nervous system. Through them, the brain learns safety, attachment, boundaries, and emotional regulation. These are some of the most important people that will be in your life. Hopefully your soul chose well. But in any case, all souls choose. Sometimes even the most toughest of circumstances are there to equip you for a particular life. This life is brutal. It can break you, but never let it. Always conquer. Always persevere, no matter how difficult. To honor father and mother at the neurological level means to integrate, not reject the formative imprints they left on your system. Even when those imprints include pain, neglect, or absence, integration is required for wholeness. When parental figures are dishonored internally, meaning unresolved resentment, denial, or rejection, the mind remains fragmented. The nervous system stays partially locked in defense. This shows up as hyper-independence, authority issues, attachment anxiety, chronic tension, or difficulty sustaining long-term stability. The brain is constantly compensating for perceived lack of foundation. Honoring does not mean excusing harm. It means acknowledging reality without letting it dominate your identity. This commandment relates strongly to grounding. The lower brain and body require a sense of origin to feel safe. When lineage is rejected, the body remains restless. Stress hormones remain elevated. Sleep, digestion, and immune response are affected. The integration brings regulation. Regulation brings longevity. The phrase that your days may be long points to physiological sustainability. People who resolve parental conflict internally experience lower chronic stress, better emotional regulation, and stronger resilience. Longevity is not only about years lived, but about quality of life within those years. Heal from whatever might have happened. I'm not saying go hate your parents or anything. Sometimes your parents just do things to you by mistake because they haven't addressed the things that are sitting in their own subconscious mind, so they pass it on. More often than not, you get people say, oh no, I don't want to be like my parents were, blah blah blah, blah blah blah. But you understand, if all you're saying is the words and you're not taking the necessary action to work on what is hidden in your subconscious mind, you are going to repeat the cycle with your own children because you have not addressed those hidden traumas. Therefore, the scripture encodes a biological truth. Healing your relationship to origin stabilizes the mind and body. When you stop fighting where you come from, energy previously spent on resistance becomes available for growth. Integration of parental imprint allows the nervous system to settle, grounding to occur, and life to extend with strength rather than exhaustion. Now the scripture reflects the principle of continuity, roots, and sustainability. In nature, nothing thrives without honoring its source. Rivers that forget their source dry up. Trees severed from their roots die. Ecosystems collapse when foundational elements are ignored or destroyed. Father and mother symbolically represent origin points, the channels through which life, energy, and instruction flow forward. To honor them is to align with the natural law that life moves through lineage. Nature teaches that strength comes from depth, not denial. Plants with shallow roots are easily uprooted by storms. Those with deep roots survive seasons of drought and wind. Be so rooted in yourself and who you are and where you come from. It is so important, even though people think it is not. It is actually very shocking. I went on a quest starting to ask some of my family, who were some of the people in our bloodlines? Great-grandfathers, great-grandmothers. And often than not, they have absolutely no idea. It is all lost. It is very disturbing that people really don't even know their own roots anymore. Honoring father and mother aligns a person with the same principle, grounds them in reality, history, and continuity. Just honoring origin produces instability, rootlessness, and fragility, even when outward success appears present. The promise of long days on the land reflects ecological stability. Land in scripture symbolizes territory, place, inheritance, and sustainability. In nature, land is only productive when its history is respected. Overworked soil becomes barren. Ignored land erodes. Honored land produces harvest for generations. In the same way, honoring lineage allows life to remain fruitful over time. Now, this also teaches transmission. Energy does not begin with the individual, flows through generations. When lineage is rejected, energy flow is disrupted. When lineage is honored, energy moves cleanly forward. This does not mean repeating the past, it means acknowledging it so transformation can occur without rupture. Therefore, this scripture aligns with the natural law that life extends through respect for origin. Longevity is not accidental, it is a result of being rooted. When roots are honored, growth is stable. When roots are denied, collapse is only delayed. This commandment protects life by aligning humanity with the law of continuity that sustains creation. I hope this gives people a lot of insight as to, well, a lot of people are starting to be woken up now. Sometimes people are being woken up by their own bloodlines. You have ignored origins of you for so long, replacing it with other things. But anyway, Bible is a beautiful book, mystical book. But what it has been used for is disturbing. Now, this scripture itself asks you to deal honestly with where you come from so that you can stand firmly in where you are going. Honoring your father and mother in daily life does not mean pretending your upbringing was perfect or excusing harm. It means refusing to let resentment, denial, or unresolved anger define your identity. Honor in practice looks like acknowledgement, maturity, and integration. You accept that life came through them, even if it was imperfect, and you choose not to let bitterness become the lenses through which you live. This commandment has a direct impact on stability. People who remain at war with their parents often struggle with authority, consistency, and rootedness. They may succeed outwardly yet feel internally unsettled. Honoring origins restores grounding. It allows you to stand on solid emotional ground instead of constantly proving, escaping, or rebelling. In practical terms, this may involve setting healthy boundaries while releasing contempt, seeking understanding without reopening wounds, or doing inner work that separates your partner's limitations from your own potential. Honor does not require closeness. It requires clarity. You stop carrying emotional weight that does not belong to you. The promise of long days on the land translates into sustainability. When you resolve issues with origin, your energy stops leaking into unresolved conflict. You gain emotional endurance, clearer focus, and stronger relationships. Your home life stabilizes. Your leadership matures. Your decisions become less reactive. This commandment also applies forward. How you honor your parents shapes how your children experience you. Healing lineage does not end with reflection, it continues through behavior. Therefore, the scripture teaches that peace with origin creates strength for the future. When you honor where you come from, you stop running from yourself. Life becomes steadier, deeper, and more durable. Such a beautiful scripture about healing and understanding where we come from. You are not a descendant of Abraham or Isaac or Moses or any of these characters. Go find out your actual origin story. The origin story of Jesus is not yours. Go find yours. It is very important. And in the next one, very short verse, but very interesting, of course. Exodus 20 verse 13. You shall not murder. Until next time, family. Stay safe. Stay blessed.